What's up, YouTube? Shawn DaGamer here, and I just want to come in with a little mid-week recap for like the pay-per-view that happened on Sunday, Clash of Champions, Monday Night Raw, and WWE SmackDown Live from last night. I'm not gonna talk too long about this. I just want to give my quick thoughts on everything that happened. The pay-per-view itself was pretty decent show. It wasn't, too pop out your seat exciting, but it wasn't dead. It had a lot of good moments. Roman Reigns winning the belt was kind of a shock. It was a good, decent match. The Sheamus, you know what? Actually, the pay per view was actually really. It was a good pay per view. It was a good pay per view, but it just felt like Raw without commercials, and you can't even really say that because after every match there's like 15 seconds or 30 seconds or a minute worth of advertisement. So there's that. But you had Sheamus and Cesaro, Rusev versus Reigns. The tag title match got off to a very fast start with the club just owning the New Day. There was a lot of good things on the show. Charlotte's moonsault to both Bayley and Sasha Banks. So there's a lot of good stuff on the show. If you have not seen it and you have access to it, go watch it. Watch it at your own leisure. If I had to suggest some matches to watch off of that show, maybe the main event, the cruiserweight match, of course. And if I had to give you 3 matches to watch, I'll say the women, the cruiserweights, and Sheamus versus Cesaro. Everything else you can kind of do without, even the main event, only because of how the way it ended. It was a good match, or a lot of good matches on the show, but just certain things can, add up. It was a lot of screwy finishes on this show, and I believe on last night's Raw, or Monday Night Raw as well, because you had a lot of kabuki-ish stuff going on Raw. Shout out to David Hero for the word kabuki-ish. So, a lot of Raw was decent. Like, to be honest, I can't remember Raw because I was more concerned about the election stuff. So Raw itself, I tried to glance over, but they didn't do anything, to be honest. Like, you still have Bayley versus, Sasha Banks versus Charlotte going on, which I love both of those two women for different reasons, but come on now. Come on. And then you got Bayley fighting jobbers. Where was Nia Jax? Where was Sami Zayn? I think Nia Jax wasn't even on the show, I don't believe. So there's so much potential on Raw that they're not tapping into because they want to do this whole authority segment and yada yada yada. But how cool would it be if there was some kind of swerve with Triple H and Stephanie not really being in cahoots? Who just said, I think JD from New York was talking about what if he was in cahoots with Mick Foley. I don't know, but it'd just be funny if everybody was like wrong against Stephanie. Like, what if they're actually like, Stephanie is like, her personality is just to be a quote unquote bitch anyways. So what if like nobody just trusts her? Then she's actually telling the truth. Like, I don't know what my husband has planned. He popped up, pedigreed you. I thought we were still cool. So that'd be very, very interesting. But Raw overall, you had a few good, I'm really, really trying to remember. Every time I think about Raw, I think about the presidential debate because that was way more entertaining than Raw. So, what else happened on Raw last night? So I can move on to SmackDown where all the good stuff happened. There wasn't anything really interesting on Raw last night. You had the continuation of the Kevin Owens Jericho stuff. Enzo and Cass and Jericho and Owens had a match. The New Day are still champions. Roman Reigns and Rusev had an opening match that Roman Reigns retained. It's just a lot of stuff going on Raw. They have the potential, they're just not tapping into it. Whereas let's go over to SmackDown real quick. SmackDown itself is such a better overall presentation from the offset. I say after week 2, because week 1 of SmackDown was literally just the draft, and then week 2 was them just finding their footing, and now we're in a point where after everything just makes sense. You've had their Backlash pay-per-view where they set up new champions. We have new champions. We have number 1 contenders, and everything just makes sense, and everything is flowing evenly on SmackDown other than Raw, because even on SmackDown they opened up. I didn't get to see it because I was taking care of business, but the first 11 minutes or 9 minutes was Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt, and that was as crazy as it sounds. I missed the opening part of that segment when I guess Randy Orton came out to the ring to call out Bray Wyatt, but all the backstage stuff when Randy was walking down the you know, like the boiler rooms and things like that. And he was following the clues that Bray Wyatt left. It was kind of like playing Until Dawn or like Left 4 Dead or Resident Evil. It was kind of like it gave you that horror kind of feel, especially with Halloween right around the corner. It was very, very good. Becky Lynch and Alexa Bliss, their storyline continued because Alexa Bliss attacked Becky Lynch on her way out down to the ring, not even allow her to get into the ring. But luckily they learned their lesson from last week, and we actually did have a match. We had the match we were supposed to have last week, which was Naomi and Nikki Bella versus Carmella and Natalya. And let me tell you how good SmackDown is. SmackDown is so good. You are cheering. Listen to this, guys. SmackDown is so good. You are officially cheering. I don't care if you want to admit it or not. You are cheering for Nikki Bella and John Cena. That's how good SmackDown is. Nikki Bella, since her neck injury, I don't know what she did, but she has completely stepped her game up. She has been stepping her game up for the past couple of years. I have noticed that. I know I've probably been harping on her over the past couple of years. Oh, get the Bellas off my screen and things like that. It's just because we were at a point where it was just tiring to see the Bellas, especially when you had people like AJ Lee and some other people like Naomi, Paige, Natty, who deserved a chance, but they kept wanting to push the Bellas. So now that Breeze unfortunately retired alongside her husband, maybe, because you know if Daniel Bryan ever had the opportunity to leave the WWE and go wrestle somewhere else, he would take it in a heartbeat. Probably not at this exact moment. Probably be a lot of convincing, but if it was just on Daniel Bryan, it's like, hey, you want to come wrestle for us? We'll let you wrestle. A lot of people, because there's a lot of people still on the indie scene that I want to see Daniel Bryan wrestling, like Will Ospreay, Ricochet, Prince Puma, and it's a whole bunch of other people on the indie scene. So, anyways, they are building stars on SmackDown, like Naomi. They've completely given Naomi a new interest. Carmella was somebody even a few weeks ago I said I didn't really have any interest in, and now she's winning matches. She's winning matches with the finest of roll-ups. So that was it was a really stiff roll-up, but it was an effective looking roll-up. It was whatever. Just go back and watch that match if you have not seen it already. But they gave the women time. They showed the women going to the outside beating up each other. You know, the women are physical now, and I love it. The tag team division on SmackDown is so much better than the tag team division on Raw. They have purpose. They have direction. You have your underdog champions and you have your underdog champion and Heath Slater, the legend, and then you have the Man Beast as his protection. You have the Usos, who finally got new music. Yes, the Usos finally got new music, and they're doing their whole make 'em tap thing. And it's really good because both of them have a unique submission. I don't think they're using the same submission. I think Jimmy and Jay have their own submission, but they both go for the leg. So that's really, really cool. Then you have the American Alphas, the team. Everybody's like, why aren't they tag champion? And they're building them up. And then you have like filler teams like the Ascension and Breezango. Where the hell is my Breezango? So you have filler teams. And then we can move on to the Intercontinental scene, which was my favorite segment, probably one of my favorite segments of this year, other than like the back and forth between John Cena and AJ Styles, and Roman Reigns and AJ Styles, and Jericho and AJ Styles. Like, this is Dolph Ziggler and The Miz. Yes, I said it. Two of my all-time favorite. I have my oversized Miz shirt from when I was a heavy set guy. I still have my like 3X height I'm Miz I'm awesome shirt. I still have that. I still have my hi I'm awesome iPhone, iPod Touch 3 stickers and all that stuff. I am a Miz fan, and Ziggler I've enjoyed watching since day one. He is one of the best sellers and best performers they have, and they both give you passion. The Miz is one of those guys, like they say, he doesn't work the traditional style that everybody likes, you know, that quote-unquote indie style. He works that same WWE style, but so does Dolph Ziggler, but, you know, he has that charisma to him that where he can work with an AJ Styles or Samoa Joe or Sami Zayn, and it looks like he's been working the indie scenes too. So he can. Dolph Ziggler is just that damn good. To be cliche about it, Dolph Ziggler is just that damn good. And the Miz has been overrated for the longest time because he wasn't conventional, but he's always been consistent. That's the whole thing that Miz has been trying to get across. Yeah, y'all can hate the way he wrestles and things like that, but he's good in the ring. He's consistent. Like he said, he hasn't had any major injuries that have taken him out for a long period of time. He has fucking Maurice. That's the only thing. The only person who can probably best him right now in the WWE is Rusev, because he has Lana on TV, because I think one of the Usos has Naomi, yada yada yada. But I'm talking about on screen that we see weekly on SmackDown and Raw between Lana and Maurice. I'm giving it to Maurice. I'm sorry, I just have to give it to Maurice. But where did we just go for that? But anyway, that Miz Homecoming segment, the passion, the emotion, going from the Miz like running down Dolph Ziggler like some real quote unquote shoot type stuff. Should I say quote unquote real shoot type stuff? It's not real quotes. You know what I'm trying to say. Anyways, from saying you're good, you've always been good, but lately you ain't nothing. All you do is lose. Why should I give you another title match? The only thing that you have left that I could possibly take from you is your career. And him and Maurice promptly proceed to walk out the arena, and then Ziggler's like, you know what? You're right. If I can't beat you, I don't deserve to be here. So your title versus my career. And they just had the passion behind it, and it was just freaking good. And then you have the main event. The main event was AJ Styles versus Dean Ambrose for the title with John Cena on commentary. John Cena, he just played up the fact that these are two great competitors, and I just want to make history. He just ran off facts. He talked about the match. He wasn't, overdoing anything. JBL, David, and Ronaldo did their jobs. John Cena did their job. AJ and Dean put on a very good match. Outside shenanigans for the win. Which was actually smart by AJ. What AJ did at the end of this match was he rolled out the ring, or they were outside the ring. He attacked John Cena. John Cena got up on the apron when AJ went back on the ring. Distracted Dean Ambrose and the ref, so Dean Ambrose couldn't get his 3 count for the roll up. And then Dean Ambrose gets pissed at Cena, goes and attacks Cena, who AJ prompted all of this. And then tries to go back into the ring, hit a dirty deeds, gets rolled up, grabbed the tights by AJ. 1, 2, 3. AJ Styles is still your number 1 contender. You end the show with both being laid out by a very pissed off John Cena, who was literally just sitting right there, doing his job, giving commentary. So that's how you book a show, WWE. What you're doing on Raw, even if it's a throwaway show, which you should never have a throwaway show, even if you're going to get something like the football debate, it doesn't matter. You always put your best foot forward, Vince. You should know this by now. So, hopefully, over the next few months, we can start seeing a real change in Raw. And, maybe once they get their footings, I know they're kind of hurt because of the whole Finn Balor situation, but doesn't matter. It does not matter. What you guys have been doing is not right on Raw. NXT and SmackDown have been doing it right. And let me end this video. We're going on 15 minutes. So if you guys agree with my thoughts on these shows from this week, like I said, I'm recording this 9/28/2016. So I have not watched NXT, Lucha Underground, and all that stuff yet. So maybe by Friday we'll have more reviews, or maybe tomorrow we'll have more reviews and things up for that stuff. Leave your comments down below on everything that I've spoken about down below. If you want to, you can follow me on everything other than YouTube, link down in the description, including but not limited to Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. Sharing this video out will get other people involved in the conversation. Subscribing, make sure you're always involved in the conversation, and liking lets me know that you actually enjoy the conversations that we partake in. Whew. And with all of that being spoken, I am Shawn DaGamer, and I am out of here.